just getting my morning fasted cardio in post leg day. This one will not be as long. Mainly because of the time of day. Worry about losing signal with towers coming up. It's already really hot. I think that's a factor. The phone tries to dim when it gets hot out here in the sunlight. So weekends, obviously, we get up really early, and I can do these longer. So I'm going to end up doing most of the cardio inside on the bike today. The workout took me a little longer to do than I thought it would. I had to do some setup stuff, trying to get the hip thrust set up. I tried to use the bench I have specifically for that, my Rogue one, and I hated it. It doesn't work well with my rack setup right now because of where my rack is set relative to my plates. So I ended up just using a bench. But I haven't done hip thrusts in a while. And I did them full range of motion, even on a bench, which is a little taller than ideal. I did them off the floor whenever you're up. So 405 was actually challenging for work sets. You know, it was definitely challenging. But yeah, so the training is done for the week. Like I said, it was a really good leg day, so now it's just going to be hours and hours of cardio, which I'll stream for you guys, and hopefully we'll get some people in here on this one. I got one of the best live stream views last night out of any of them I've done. I feel like that afternoon slot is actually a really, really good spot for me to do these in. I feel like it's definitely a good spot. Sir Francis, it's just me. Yep, it's just you. Well, hit the like button, Sir Francis. If you guys hit the likes, it gets more people flowing in here. All right, the engagements, or we'll get this into people's feeds. And like I said, I'm not going to do this one super long. I feel like I need to get some food in relatively soon. That was a pretty intense lower workout. Yeah, hit the like button, Sir Francis. I would appreciate that. She's Sir Francis Drake, a very famous individual in history who has given me the honor of gracing my cardio live stream with his historical presence. But yeah, hit the like button, please. And yeah, so because again, the phone gets hot out here, deal with the sunlight, we deal with connection issues when it gets this time of day. This one's not gonna be super long, but I do wanna get at least one of these outside. But I want to get home, get the vlog and other stuff up and going. And then, like I said, I'll do a lot more cardio indoor today on my bike. But we definitely need to get one of these in. Like I said, starting off a little slow. What's up, Taran? How you doing? Hit the like button for me, Taran. And keep those comments flowing. So, how are you? I'm doing great. Kind of tired. I just had a pretty intense leg day, fasted. Now I'm doing my first round of fasted walking. So I'm a little fatigued. That was my final training session of the week. It's all cardio from here. But I'm feeling it trying to walk. So, you know, I want to get just a brief one of these done. Get back home, get a quick shower, get some breakfast in. All right? Get my training vlog up. And then we'll do a lot more cardio. Hello, where am I from? I am from the great Republic of Texas. Why I feel sad when I spend money on expensive things, because you don't have enough money to spend on the expensive things, man. That's why. I don't know. This is not that sort of channel, though. So this is a channel about being fit and being cock diesel strong as hell and being jacked and tan. All right? That's what this channel's about. And how you going to be sad? Like, how are you going to be sad when you're smoking 500 pounds ass to grass on a back squat? You know what I mean? And none of you guys, you know what makes me sad is when people don't hit the like button. That's what makes me sad. So hit that like button. Some life advice for you in your 20s. Go to the gym. Get jacked. Get strong. Build your whole body top to bottom. Get super strong on squat, bench, and deadlifts. Focus on your fitness. Focus on your career. Make money. Get rid of all soul destroying and time sink hobbies. Toss out your video games, toss out your porn, toss out the anime, don't smoke weed, stay away from alcohol, and build a fulfilling, rewarding life. And just get rid of all that crap that is useless, soul destroying time sinks. Right? That's my advice to you. So focus on fitness, your finances. You'll be a lot better off. And then if you say, but what about girls? Fix those things and you'll draw high quality girls to you at a much better rate. So there's my life advice. Man, this is the lowest one of these streams I've had. Like we had one of the best ones in a while last night. And then this morning, man, we got 3 people in here in 5 minutes. That is crazy that I only have 3 people. How's this even possible? Porn is the biggest issue in the world. Is it bad? I mean, porn addiction's a problem, yeah. You know, especially dudes talking about being sad, unfulfilled, all this other stuff, you know. It's definitely not helping. Like I said, dude, focus on your career, your fitness, get jacked and strong, make money, right? And then find hobbies that are rewarding, that develop some sort of skill. Haven't done anything like one in 9 months, Bubba. Hey, Bubba, you can't just drop paraphrases in here and expect me to understand the context. Anything like that. What's that mean? Like what? Walking? You haven't walked, you haven't lifted weights, you haven't worked on your finance. What do you mean by that? You have to be very Pacific, not Atlantic, Pacific. God, I'm gonna get slammed for that later. Yeah, dude, you need to explain what you were talking about. You guys forget that, man, when you're typing stuff. I sometimes have 6 conversations going. If you don't tell me what you're talking about, I don't know. Are you gonna swim? No. Not gonna swim. There we go. Now the views are picking up. Give me some likes here, guys. Those likes are what. Bubba, yes, absolutely. Please rephrase that because otherwise I have no context. People are really bad about 1 dropping paraphrases, 2 dropping first names, or 3 dropping names that people have never heard of without telling me specifically, hey, are you familiar with Josephine Smithopus? And I'll be like, who is that? Is that a golfer? Is that a singer? Is it a power lifter? You know, hey, what's up? How do you go live on YouTube? You hit the live button. Jason, what are your thoughts? And my screen just went dark because of the heat. All right, let me see. Jason, what you guys got to ask me shorter questions than that when I'm on. Your thoughts on dips because I'm confused. You like them? Dips can be an injury risk if you're not careful. Don't ego lift on them. What's your diet? A lot of chicken, brown rice, vegetables, avocados, fruit. Fruit when I feel like it. It'd be fruit. Some days no fruit. Fat-free dairy. Right? I'm vegan by birth. Can I take to me? No, you're not vegan by birth. Give up your goofball vegan diet. Done. Give up your vegan diet. If you want to gain muscle, drop that silly nonsense. Quit pretending to care about the animals. Vegans are all sociopaths anyways who pretend to care about animals. It's all a big goofball mental illness cult. Get rid of that nonsense and go build some muscle. Okay. Yeah. Cool things. Discipline. So, Jason, why is the good morning so weak? I squat 500 to death, but the max good morning is 385. Well, I mean, that's not terrible. It means that your quads are stronger than your hip extension or back. Sociopath is absolutely a clinical psychology term. It's a specific mental disorder on the dark triad. Jason, what time should any person wake up? I don't know. Which state are you in? The Great Republic of Texas. Anyone who doesn't know I'm from Texas, I don't know what to say at this point. Like the entire fitness world knows that Jason Blaha is from Texas. So that's rather strange that fitness people come into my stream and not know that. There are whole memes and jokes about it. So, kind of well known. Damn, you're made of steel. Coke here. Jason, What is your favorite state besides Texas? I'm kind of keen on Florida and Colorado. All right. Legend has it as dude has his glasses. Well, I literally lift sometimes without them on, and you see it in the videos. I think we can debunk that. It's hot as hell. It is hot out here. Hey, Jason, how's it going, man? It's going, dude. We're out here walking in this heat, still fasted after getting my leg day done, man. I can tell you guys, man, the fasted walking on leg days is definitely kind of tests my grit just a little bit. You know, because we're doing heavy squats and deadlifts and hip thrusts and all that stuff. Heavy barbell calf raises. It's like, yeah, let's go take a nice brisk walk in some work boots before breakfast after doing that. Like, I don't really mind. Like, dude, my non-training day is for me to get up and just go take an hour and a half walk in the morning. Right, it's no big deal. Doing it after leg day, I kind of, you know, I'm trying not to let the inner bitch in me come out right now. You know what I mean? So, it's one of my 2 leg days, yeah. Tuesdays and Fridays. So I'm trying not to let my inner bitch come out, but it's starting to a little bit. You know, it's like, it's kind of test my metal a little bit, right? Man, it's a little bit tough. I find it a little bit challenging. You know, my voice gets a little higher pitched. What's the difference between 60% gains versus 80%? About 20% difference. Next. I got you, bro, Skillet. I got your math covered. All right. Hold on. Let me get over to where I can see this. Get into some shade. Do you know Dee Dee? No. New here. What's going on? What's going on? You got me, been a YouTuber forever. 48-year-old strength coach, power lifter, who's doing his fasted cardio out on leg day still because I'm getting leaner for the summer. I got to lose a little bit of fluff. We got to lose a little bit of blubber, get 6-pack. So I'm doing lots and lots of cardio while still training heavy. So that's what's up. But no, I'm 48, doing my thing. Oh, any of you guys need coaching, by the way. I have 3 coaching slots open at the moment. Hit me up. Are laying hamstring curls a good exercise because they're low fatigue? Well, they're a good exercise because they give a training response you don't get on a lot of compound movements in terms of bias in the hamstring. Nothing to do with fatigue itself. I mean, it's not really the point. I mean, if low fatigue was how we base a good exercise, then squats would be the worst exercise in the world instead of king of exercises. And they generate a lot of fatigue. You don't want to do that. Bad exercise. You know what I mean? Do you watch WWE? No, not since I was like 8. So 40 years ago. And it was called WWF back then. Would you rather watch? I'd rather watch Yo Mama grow. Freud. I'd rather watch your mama grow. Say hello to your sexy ass mama for me. Hey, put your mama over here. I know you live at home with her with that post. You live at home. Go bring your mama over and put her up over to the camera. Let her check out my hair chest. Be like, what's up, mama? How you doing, girl? All right. Cardio versus lifting versus HIIT. Lifting is always going to be king. Period. This is not even subject to debate. All medical experts and researchers will tell you have the most health benefits from lifting weights. Full stop. General cardio is still good. HIIT should be sports specific. For general fitness, I'm not a fan of any type of HIIT cardio. If you have sport specific needs for it for a sport of yours, absolutely has its place. But generally speaking, HIIT is going to interfere with your lifting. So if you're just wanting to get endurance and burn some calories, go do list cardio, my opinion. But let me be clear. A lot of sports have enormous benefits and carryover from HIIT that is specifically programmed towards them. Hello from South Africa. Hello. Why are there stalkers in there talking about chest hair? The lifting channel. I don't see anyone talking about chest hair. I was the one talking about chest hair. I was telling him to bring his mama over. Hey, James, but don't worry about it. Don't engage them and talk about it, man. If you stick to the lifting, then we don't have to have a problem with it. All right. So don't, because I don't see them actually. So they might not be coming through my filters. So you're just giving them free airtime. Can you dig it? Hit that like button, by the way, guys. Come on. Let's get them likes up. Let's get those likes up. But at least I found a decently shady street for a moment. Liked. Appreciate it, James. Yeah, it's getting bright enough. I've got to be careful where I walk just to be able to see the screen and to keep it from getting dim again from the heat from the sunlight on it too. Downside of this time of day for walking outside. Like I said, the mornings are really good on my non-lifting days because I can get up at like 7 a.m. and just go hit the pavement. Training days, I got to get the training done first. And that can take a couple hours. So, you know, I wonder why the views are so low right now on this one. We were doing really good yesterday on this stuff. Who knows, right? And then we're getting non-fitness people who are new here. That's really weird instead of my normal people. I wonder how it's getting into their feed, unless they're just really trolls playing. Do heavy singles with accommodating resistance increase bone mineral density more than straight weight because of the higher axial loading? You want me to be fair, Joe? We're really getting tit for tat here. Because think about it for a moment. Is it really that significantly more? Right? I mean, realistically, how much chain are you going to run on a heavy back squat? Like, how much more at the top is it really going to give you? You know? And then you're also not getting, so you're thinking purely of compressive instead of shear stress. Okay, so you're like, well, yeah, at the top, you know, I can run whatever. Let's say your max squat is 500, but you can do 430 with 100 pounds of chains or whatever, right? It's only 30 more pounds versus 500 at the top. But at the bottom, your shear stress is lower across the femur. See what I mean? Are you really gaining bone mineral density extra from that? And also, let's be fair, you squat 500 pounds, what's your bone mineral density really gonna look like? I was squatting 500 when I got DEXA scans and bone minerals, and they were like, your bone minerals almost off the charts. Right? So, like, it's barely on our scale. So, again, it's kind of tit for tat at that point. Because keeping in mind, still, you're thinking only in terms of compressive and not thinking of shear because of those levers and moment arms also. So you think about the full physics of it, and then the stress is being applied to the bones of the different types of stresses. Make sense? Notice I just did that off the cuff while walking. Oh, we just got to roll with it, baby. Rumor has it I am smarter than the average bear, but I don't know that bears are really that smart. So I don't know that expression is really, you know, that big of a compliment to people. They're like, you know, he's smarter than the average bear. It's like, man, I think the average bear might be kind of dumb though. Like, is this really where we're setting the bar? You know, we're setting that bar pretty low. We're over here talking about the average bear. I'm just saying, guys. People are gonna be like, oh man, we're gonna make this whole stream about the intellectual capacity and emotional capacity of a bear. What a fitness topic that could be. All right, let me get over into a little bit of shade so I can read what no, it's not Marcinio. I thought it was Marcinio, one of my regulars. Let's get shadified so I can see the screen. The downside of this time, like I said, I'll do most of these later today inside just because it's bright. Like, dude, most of my outside stuff's gonna have to be on off days in the mornings. But the upside, I'm worked up a pretty good tan. Okay, like bone mineral density. Yes, that is literally what we were talking about, bone mineral density. Jason, I'm telling you, increase your step count using fat loss drugs will give you, well, the problem is I need to generate more business. Like, we in this economy, every extra penny I make is going to pay my taxes right now. So it's kind of like, people are like, go buy a bunch of fat loss drugs. I'm like, cool, do you want to send them to me? I mean, you could hire me to coach you and then tell me you specifically would like me to buy them with that. But in the meantime, guys, like, really, most of my discretionary income, because of the way this economy's been and the way they hit my taxes with the shifts in tax laws, like, most of my discretionary income's going to the IRS right now. But I don't really need fat loss drugs. I mean, I've gotten lean before without any. Right? How to make stronger skull mineral density. I don't know. Why are you trying to do that? I mean, I guess drugs would help, but there's no training methods I think that are going to increase skull bone mineral density. I mean, I guess in theory, anabolic drugs might help, right? Why do you care? Like, what specifically is it you're chasing to do that? I don't want to leave anything out. I mean, I would need to see some data, but maybe the steroids that increase bone mineral density to most might have receptors in your skull. You could go do some research, but I don't have an answer there. Maybe you could do really high doses of growth hormone and then maybe some, nandrolone or something might, but I don't want to guarantee you that it will. It'd probably take a lot of growth hormone though. You kind of look like Walter White. Every guy who's bald with glasses does not look like Walter White. All right. Not trying to be a dick, but I hear that stupid ass line so much that I'm just like, oh, okay, another fucktard thinks I look like Walter White. Sorry, I'm not trying to be offensive. It's just like, dude, seriously, I don't even see the resemblance. I've seen pictures, seen myself and looked. I don't really see the resemblance yet. I've heard it like 157,000 times in live streams. I'm just saying, dude, like, goddamn, man, guys, come up with something else to talk about. Again, not trying to be a dick. I'm just saying. All right. Boy, we haven't heard that one 17 times today already. All right. Mike Tyson, neck rolls is crazy, right? Why do people say debol makes them feel more euphoric? Because it's testosterone based. So it's going to have an effect on dopamine. I don't think it is making them feel more euphoric necessarily, but there's definitely something involving dopamine and debol. I think there were some studies show it may have a slightly more robust dopamine response than testosterone, but I don't think in terms of anabolic effect necessarily, and it might just be milligram per milligram, but you have to think about the relative strength of it in the bloodstream, milligram per milligram with the 17 alpha alkylated molecule, right? It stays in longer. So, like, you would probably literally, and I know people say that from a relatively small dose, but if they were to do a proportionate amount of testosterone for the same androgenic activity, I almost guarantee you they'd get the same response. You know, because when people say that, I would say, well, have you ever done a gamma test? You're like, well, no. Well, you might get that same response. You know, just in terms of androgen receptor binding in the brain. All right. So let me get over to some shade so I can read these questions again. Jason, get tanner and nobody will make that comment. Well, I'm getting darker every day out here walking. I mean, it's a popular show. Of course, people would reference to some people who look like the main character. All right. Should knees be in front of elbows during deadlifts? What? You shouldn't be able to think about your knees relative to your elbows. Pull correctly. Look, keep the bar over your midfoot. So yes, at some point, near the bottom, depending upon your specific levers and moment arms, your knees may be in front of your elbows. But it has nothing to do with what's correct on a deadlift. It has to do with your individual biomechanics. It's not something you should be thinking about, right? Like, it's not really something you should be actively thinking about, because if you are, you're going to mess your form up. You should be thinking about your hip start position, pulling the slack out and keeping the bar mid-foot. So if you start deviating from that to think about things like knees relative to elbows in terms of that frontal plane, you're going to end up messing your form up, and you're going to lose 100 pounds off your deadlift. Hey, Jason, just had a little back and bicep workout, doing my cardio as well. No, awesome, man. Get that cardio did. What are your thoughts on par cardio saying the only rep range that matters is 6 to 8? Can you make a video on this? I mean, I've kind of addressed this. I don't think that's necessarily true. I don't think it causes more muscle growth than the others. I understand fully where he's coming from in terms of effective reps versus maybe, calcium ion fatigue and stuff from higher reps. I understand what he's saying, but I don't think the other fatigue is as big of a deal as he makes it out to be. Like, no one's ever failed to get big by doing sets of 12 either with progressive overload, and challenging sets near failure, right? It's not really a thing. But I fully get where he's coming from in terms of, can we reduce all possible junk volume and all possible non-anabolic fatigue is kind of what he's trying to do and where he's going with that. And I totally get what he's saying, but I think he's overstating the benefits. But I understand where he's coming from, like mechanistically. This just had a killer back bicep. All right. What are your, I already did that one. Is burpees good cardio but very lower back risk of walking? I've never done a burpee in my life, and I have no desire to do or discuss a burpee. Come on. Why are we talking about burpees? What? I mean, I guess if you enjoy burpees, if that's a form of cardio you prefer to do, then by all means, go do some burpees. So let me get over to a little bit of shade here for a moment, get to some other questions. I may wind this down here shortly because it's just getting so bright, and I can go do more cardio inside here in a bit. Again, that leg day was intense. Overall, it was just a lot. I think certain small muscle groups respond better to slightly higher reps. The stupid dude neck working the for sixes. How does it feel walking bare chest? Feels normal, dude. I'm not even the only person I pass out here who's just in shorts. Right? I mean, think about where I live and how hot it is. I am not the only person outside doing exercise shirtless. I'm the only guy. You don't see any women doing it shirtless. All right. All right, we got any other fitness stuff? Like I said, I'm gonna wind this down here soon. And I'll do more later inside on my bike. Probably do quite a bit more later on the bike once we get some other stuff done. Does metabolite accumulation have any pro-anabolic effects, or is that bro science? No, the metabolites themselves are a byproduct. They themselves are not necessarily anabolic. Philip S says, hi, what's up, Philip? Does that make sense, Joe? It's more the case of it's just a side effect of the lifting, but no, those metabolites themselves don't have an anabolic response. There's a lot of discussion and debate on a lot of these things, though, as far as all the mechanisms of hypertrophy at this point. Thanks for calling out the sugar diet. You're welcome, man. That nonsense. I mean, why can't people just eat a balanced, healthy diet? You know, I mean, they do all this stuff. Has really, think about it, has traditional bodybuilding type diets ever not worked? I mean, really, come on, guys. Do we need all these extreme diets? Lean meat, rice, vegetables has gotten thousands and thousands of bodybuilders absolutely shredded to the bone for 50 years. Why do we need these crazy unbalanced diets when we could just eat healthy, you know, clean whole foods, right? So if you get a pump, it's a decent indicator you did an effective work set. No, not necessarily. I mean, the pump is somewhat correlated. And I think it's more the case of if you're losing your pump, you may be into junk volume, can be something to be noted, you know, right? I think that's more the concern of the case, really. But the pump itself, we do it because it feels good. You know, we know we're doing certain, but it's not necessarily indicative of a good workout, no. Boy, I don't even know what Cole Robinson looks like. I didn't even look. Haven't overly concerned myself with it. I don't remember. He used to claim to lift really big numbers, but I don't know that there was evidence. If I remember, while doing his snake diet. But I mean, Mark is over here doing all this stuff and he's all shredded now, but it's like, Mark, you've been shredded on other diets before too. Like, again, it's just nonsense. They're marketing more scams. And it's like I get people who get upset with me, like, Jason, you repeated a lot of the same stuff. And I'm like, that's the problem, is that audiences expect influencers to give new, completely different takes all the time instead of sticking to what works. And then that drives this sort of nonsense, right? Can you beat Brock Lesnar? Have you lost your mind? Are you talking about in a fight? Like, am I unarmed? I don't have any firearms? No, I'm getting destroyed by Brock Lesnar. Have you lost your mind? Like, dude, how many people out here think they're taking Brock Lesnar in a fight? How delusional would somebody have to be? French fries, lean or bulk or bay. You shouldn't be frying food. Right? If you care about your health, you don't fry foods. Full stop. Just stop. Done. That's everything we need to know on the topic of fried foods. You eat fried foods, you don't care about your health. Eric Bugenhagen says, big forearms, smaller biceps is a better look. I don't know about that. That's the opposite of Arnold, you know. And that guy got a better look. I don't know about all that. Let's see. All right. Hey, what's up, Josh T? All right, guys. I'm going to go ahead and wind this down. It's getting too bright. I will do more cardio inside on my bike here in a bit. But I'm going to get in, get a quick shower. I'm going to get some breakfast going, get my vlog up, and then I'll do another stream for you guys. So I love you guys, and I'll talk to you next time.